My name is Grayson Wells, and this was supposed to be the year I finally reconnected with my family. After everything that had happened, I'd spent weeks telling myself, this time would be different. This time I'd walk through that door and maybe, just maybe, find a sliver of acceptance. Something more than the strange smiles and polite nods they'd mastered over the years. Promised myself I could handle whatever came, that I wouldn't let them get under my skin like before. I parked at the curb in front of my parents' house, staring at the white siding and black shutters that hadn't changed since I was a kid. The oak tree in the yard still reached over the sidewalk like a sentinel, its branches skeletal against the winter sky. I turned off the ignition and sat for a moment, gripping the steering wheel, feeling the thud of my heart. The gift sat on the passenger seat beside me, a small box wrapped in silver paper with a blue ribbon and a bottle of Merlot I picked up from the specialty shop downtown. I told myself it was just a token, but really, it was my peace offering, my way of saying, look, I'm still here, I still care. I walked up the path, each step slow and deliberate, rehearsing the smile I'd wear. The front door opened before I even knocked, and there stood my mother, Cynthia, in her holiday sweater and apron, looking at me like she'd been expecting someone else. Her eyes flicked over me, hair a little longer than last year, lines around my eyes deeper, and then landed on the gift. Her lips pressed together in that familiar disapproval, sheeted over the years. "Grayson," she said, her voice neutral but brittle. She stepped aside and I walked in, carrying my hope in both hands. The house smelled like turkey and cinnamon, a scent that used to feel like home. Now, it just felt forced. I scanned the living room, the dining room beyond, looking for a sign that I belonged here. The table was set with the good china, polished silverware, place cards in my mother's neat cursive, Victor, Sasha, Mom, Dad, Melody. My heart lurched at Melody's name, my ex-wife, who'd left me and taken thousands from our joint account. Before the ink was dry on the divorce papers, she was already here, standing by the fireplace with a glass of wine, smiling like she owned the place. My brother Victor's laugh rose from the kitchen, a sound that always managed to fill a room and drown out everything else. He was the star, the golden child, and I'd spent my entire life in his shadow, trying to prove I was worth even a fraction of the pride they heaped on him. I wanted to believe things could be different this year. I wanted to believe time could heal the wounds I'd carried since childhood. I moved closer to the table, looking for my name. I checked every place card. Twice. Nothing. A seat for Victor, a seat for Sasha, a seat even for Melody. But no seat. For me. My chest tightened, and I turned to my mother. "Where should I sit?" I asked, my voice quieter than I intended. I saw her eyes shift, flicker toward Victor and Sasha, like she was asking permission to answer. Sasha looked up from her wine. Glass. Her lips curled into a smirk that sliced me open. "Why would we waste a seat on you?" she said, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Her words hung in the air, heavy as iron. I waited for my mother to speak, to defend me, to say that was enough. But she didn't. She actually sighed, like she'd expected this moment, like it was a burden to have to deal with me at all. "Maybe you can eat in the car," she said, her voice gentle, as if she were doing me a favor. My grip tightened around the gift, the ribbon trembling as my hands shook. Victor emerged from the kitchen, grinning like he just wanted something. "Hey, Mom," he called out loud enough for everyone to hear. "Maybe Grayson can sit on the porch with the dog." Laughter erupted around the table, bright, cruel, sharp, and I felt it cut through me like a blade. Melody's laugh was the loudest, bright and ringing, and I wondered how she could still smile after everything she'd done, my father, Gerald, sat at the head of the table, staring into his wine glass like it held all the answers he didn't want to face. He didn't look at me. He didn't look at anyone. I wondered if he felt ashamed, or if he'd finally decided I wasn't worth the effort. I swallowed the lump in my throat and forced myself to breathe. I wouldn't let them see me break. Not again. I set the gift down on the table, the bottle of wine beside it, hoping someone, anyone, might see the effort I'd made. But no one did. They were too busy laughing, too busy celebrating themselves. I watched them for a moment, their faces lit by the warm glow of the candles, and realized they didn't see me at all. I was a shadow on the edge of their perfect picture. I thought about leaving. I thought about turning around and walking out the door, never looking back, but something inside me refused to give them that satisfaction. Wouldn't be the one to vanish. Not this time. I'd stayed silent for too long. I'd let them treat me like an afterthought, a mistake, a burden. I wasn't that man anymore. I straightened my spine. My eyes locked on Victor's smirk. I walked toward the kitchen, each step a declaration. Didn't owe them an explanation or an apology. I claimed a stool near the counter, no place card, no invitation, and sat down like I belonged. If they wouldn't give me a seat, I'd take my own. No one spoke to me, no one offered me a plate, but I sat there, my back straight, my head held high, letting them see that I wasn't going to disappear. I wasn't going to eat in my car. I wasn't going to be silent anymore. Was here, whether they liked it or not. And for the first time in years, I felt like I'd claimed something that was always mine, the right to exist in my own family. And that was enough. Moment lingering in the doorway, waiting for someone, anyone, to notice I had nowhere to sit. My mother, Cynthia, hovered in the hallway with her hair done up, the scent of her rosewater perfume so strong it made me swallow hard. She was always good at making everything look perfect, even when it was a lie. I stepped toward her, my voice low, hoping maybe she'd understand. "Mom," I said, "there's no place for me at the table." The words came out flat, like they'd been waiting for years to surface. She barely met my eyes. "It's too late to rearrange things now," she murmured, like it was a matter of logistics, like I was a mistake in the seating plan. "You always eat quickly anyway, just fix a plate and relax in your car." Her voice was sweet, practiced, the way you talk to a neighbor you didn't want to inconvenience. My heart beat hard against my ribs, but I couldn't show it. I couldn't give them the satisfaction of seeing me break.